What were you seeing on the ground in Khartoum one day on from this military coup?
So yeah, I was saying that I drove around the city this afternoon, and there were very few soldiers in the city. Like the only one I was able to see were surrounding the airport. Some of them were standing on bridges linking the capital to neighboring cities, but that's all. Everywhere else in the city, I couldn't find any soldiers. Regarding the demonstrators, there were very few compared to yesterday. The one that I found were on the outskirts of the city. There were like small groups of a couple hundred. They were burning tires, singing songs, celebrating the revolution. And they were saying that there is no way for the military to stay in power. They are asking for the civilian government to come back to power, and they're asking for the release of Prime Minister Abdel Fattah.
Now, General al-Burhan has been defending his seizure of power. What statements was he making today?
Well, he gave us some news from Abdel Fattah, and that's what we were hoping for. So he said that the prime minister has been evacuated from his house yesterday morning because there were some threats against him. So we don't know what kind of threats or who was behind them. But he is now under the army's protection at General Burhan's place. That's what he said. He explained that Hamdok was not kidnapped, that he was not assaulted, that he was not tortured. He is in good health, and according to Burhan, he is not detained. His movements are not restricted, and this information seems untrue since the Ministry of Information on Monday morning said that several members of the government were arrested, including the Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok. In his speech, General Burhan also said that, this was not a coup, that it was the duty of the army to step in because this civilian government was not taking care of the people. They were not addressing the issues of the country, and that they were just trying to keep the power in their hands, and that's why they had to dismantle this civilian government. And finally, he said that an independent judiciary will be implemented by the end of the week, that the new legislative assembly will be soon organized, and that youth will be part of this assembly, youth who took part of the protest of 2019 that led to the fall of Omar al-Bashir. And finally, he committed again to give the power to a civilian technocratic government that will lead the transition to democracy with the election in July 2023.
Now, after the ouster yesterday, several anti-coup protesters were killed. What more have we learned about that?
Well, we know that more than 140 people were injured, 7 people at least were killed. They were taken to several hospitals in the city, but mostly to the Royal Care Hospital. And the conditions there were pretty difficult because the military intelligence was surrounding the hospital, and they were arresting the less injured people, the ones that didn't need like intensive care, were arrested, and we don't know where they are now. I talked to several doctors. They told me that they had to do war surgery to help these people, and it was very intense, very difficult for them to work because they were hearing gunshots and they were feeling a lot of pressure when working and when trying to save these people.